Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. It's Wednesday, new review day here on the channel. It's another book review here on this particular episode. Today we're going to look at the brand new release, third book from Tim Durling. Let It Be Your Guide, the Kansas Album Review. Gotta love that cover art, huh? Look at that. Kind of hold it up here, you get the whole picture there. If you look carefully, all sorts of Easter eggs relating to Kansas albums of the past. Right, let's look real carefully at Point of No Return, maybe the first album there. You got the violin, got the eagle up there. Right, take a close look. You'll see all sorts of stuff. Of course, this is Tim's third book. Tim, of course, Tim's Vinyl Confessions YouTube channel, right? Tim also wrote the very, very fun Unspooled, I'm drawing a blank here, the 8-track book that he did a couple years back, an adventure in 8 tracks, and then, of course, Down for the Count, the Y&T album review. And I've been very, very thankful to be a part of Tim's last 2 books. I was a contributor, one of the panel contributors to the Y&T book, and I'm also a contributor to this particular book here on Kansas. As everybody knows who watches this channel, Pete Pardo has been a big Kansas fan since probably, 1977 or so. And I have followed this band through their journey over the years, and was happy to be able to talk about a handful of these albums with Tim, as well as my co-panelist on this particular book project, who I will name them all: John Alapic, Grant Arthur, Nathan Beaudry, Daniel Bosch, Darcy Briggs, Shay Cetra, John Clauser, Denise De La Cerda, who also designed the album artwork, by the way, Nick DeRiso, John Elefante himself, former singer of Kansas, Todd Evans, my good friend of 40 years, Steve Fleck, also appears here on Sea of Tranquility from time to time, Chad Green, Peter Jones, Mike Lodano, Scott Lade from the Prague Corner, also appears here on Sea of Tranquility, Lori Larson, Pontus Norshammer, myself, Stephen Reed, my right-hand man on the webzine and here on the channel for many, many years, Jex Russell, Eric Savio, Steve Smits, John T. Snow, Brendan Snyder, of course, Jeff Wagner. Jeff Wagner, also an author himself. He wrote that great Fates Warning book not too long ago. Worked with Inside Out Music, has a personal relationship with the guys in the band. William Walker, John Wetmore, and Jeff Witcher. So, you got a handful of Sea of Tranquility related folks here, which is very, very cool. And Tim obviously has assembled a cast who are big fans just like him. Tim is an enormous Kansas fan. So when you're going to do a book like this where you're going to get together a panel to talk about all the songs on all the albums, you have to bring in people who are passionate about that particular band. It's like we're all fans, right? Some of us work in the music industry doing things, writing, blogging, vlogging, whatever you want to call it, hosting, that sort of thing. But you have to be a fan first and foremost to participate in something like this. So basically how this works, again, each chapter is a separate album in the history of the band. So you've got Kansas, the self-titled debut from 74, Song for America from 75, Mask from 75. Crazy how, and it's discussed in the book by the various panelists, how right out of the gate, not only did this band release 3 classic albums like that, but within such a short span of time, 3 albums and tours within like a year and a half. It's pretty crazy. Then, of course, Left Overture in 76, Point of No Return 77. That was my entryway into the band. Monolith 79, Audio Visions 1980, Vinyl Confessions 82, Drastic Measures 83, Power 1986, In the Spirit of Things 88, Freaks of Nature 95, Somewhere to Elsewhere 2000, Prelude Implicit 2016, In the Absence of Presence 2020. And then a little chat with the cover artist, forward by Jeff Wagner, a little intro by Tim himself, and then contributor bios and whatnot make up the bulk of the book here. So about 250 odd pages, right? Personally, I took part in a couple of the early. My part in this book is kind of like the bookends, right? A couple of the early albums, classic albums, and then the two most recent albums. But what's really great and what flows so nicely about these books is that each album is discussed by a select handful of the contributors, and on each album it's usually a different crew of people, and it's all set up like basically the way these books are laid out, which I think is it makes for a great read, is as if you're sitting down at a table with a group of people, again, who are passionate and knowledgeable about a specific band and their albums, and you're just talking about those albums. And you're talking about them track by track, giving your impressions on the music, on the songwriting, the production, the album cover art, all that sort of thing. So there's really no stone left unturned, basically. And I think that with all of these different personalities pulled together, who all have different opinions on things and listen to things differently because we all hear things differently, makes for a really fascinating read, because it's almost like you're sitting in the room with all of us, hearing our thoughts and our opinions and our feedback on these great records and talking about what makes them so great, or in some instances what's not so great about them, right? Because there are instances here where we are critical of certain things and very positive about others. But it's great. I think what was a challenge for me is talking about these classic era albums that I've had 40 years of history plus with, and like the back of your hand, and then talking about the two most recent albums, which I think are really great, but obviously I don't have that long history with. So trying to come up with things to say about an album you've only had for a couple of years and haven't nearly listened to as many times as like a Left Overture or a Song for America or a Mask or what have you. That always is a challenge, but I think everybody here was up to the challenge, and I think especially the folks who were put together for the recent album. So the Absence of Presence from 2020 was Daniel Bosch, Darcy Briggs, Shez Cetra, Todd Evans, myself, and Brendan Snyder. And Tim asked some great questions, right? So I think we really did justice to that particular album, as well as the Prelude Implicit. So that was Chez, Denise, Scott, myself, Jeff Wagner, and Jeff Witcher, who discussed that particular album. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. These are always fun to take part in. You have to, when you get ready to do one of these, you have to kind of do your homework. You got to go revisit these albums, and you have to kind of put your thoughts together and get ready for whatever questions that Tim is going to come up with. And when Martin does these books, because Martin does these type of books also, it's the same thing. So there are lots of fun for us, but it's demanding, right? So but ultimately it's always great to read what everybody has to say, and like I said, the conversational nature of it is what makes it so enjoyable for us. And of course it wouldn't be Tim without him throwing in some images of the 8-tracks, right? Because Tim is just such a collector of 8-tracks. There's more. There are more. And what's great about this is when you see the final product and you read some of the statements from some of your peers, and you get this kind of kinship from people that you may not know at all or know well at all, and who have very, very similar feelings towards certain songs and albums and things like that. It's like, and you hear what they have to say about a certain song, and like, oh, that's like one of my favorite tracks by them. It does this to me, or whatever. And you're like, what? It does the same thing to me, right? So very, very cool. Anyway, I could sit here and talk about this all day long, but I think you get the point. This is well worth checking out if you are a Kansas fan. Let me read you the back here. Starting with their 1974 self-titled debut through 2020's The Absence of Presence, Kansas has consistently delivered powerful progressive music mixed with hints of blues, hard rock, southern rock, classical, and AOR to create a sound all their own. Exactly. Along the way, they've scored timeless hits such as Dust in the Wind, Play the Game Tonight, All I Wanted, and the immortal Carry On Wayward Son. Author Tim Durling has assembled a panel of fellow wheatheads, we are all wheatheads, right, whether we like it or not, to discuss the entire Kansas studio catalog. From multi-platinum albums like Left Overture and Point of No Return to recent works such as Somewhere Elsewhere and The Prelude Implicit, this book puts almost every Kansas composition under the knife and under the microscope, right? So that's absolutely true. Go check it out. Let it be your guide, the Kansas album review by Tim Durling and all of us in the panel. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below we get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thank you in advance for all your support there. You can get this anywhere you buy your online books, folks. So Amazon's got plenty of them in stock, so go check them out, and you'll have it within 2 days, right, or whatever. Comes pretty quick. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pete Pardo. We'll see you soon here with more stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.